I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Board of Education Foundation Subcommittee. It is February 16th, 2023, a little after, I think it's 3:02. And can we have a roll call, please?
PSUSD Board Member Cornett.
Here.
PSUSD Board Member Girardi.
Here.
Foundation Board President Gauthier.
Here.
Foundation Board Member Bush.
Here.
Foundation Director Goodman.
Present.
And Superintendent Sweezy.
Here.
Okay, that's great. We're also joined by Dr. Kovac. Also, we are being live streamed. I forgot to mention that. Number two, let's have a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll move.
Okay, John moved. Have a second. Ellen?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Are there any email comments been received?
We have not received any email comments for today's meeting.
Is there any public that is present that wants to make a comment? I don't see anybody. Okay, let's go on to information and discussion. And can we get a foundation update from Ms. Goodman?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we'll start with some of our programs and projects. We are starting our focus on our wellness center deliverables. And we've been discussing this at the executive committee level and at the foundation board level, the executive committee of the foundation board and at the board. Right now, we have collected funds for 19 centers and we have 12 to complete. So we've completed 7 and we are completing 12 more. And so that's where our focus is going to be. We do have someone who is going to be joining us as a project manager to oversee the installation, the accounts receivables, and the accounts payables. And that person happens to be one of our foundation board members. And her name is Nicole Vaughn, and she will be stepping off of the foundation board temporarily to do this work. And we will be able to compensate her as a result of a gift that we received for health and wellness. And so that gets rolled into our wellness center program and projects.
Ellen, can I just interject, excuse me, to share with everyone that Ellen discussed that proposal with me, and then I was at the foundation board meeting at the beginning of the meeting where it was discussed with the rest of the foundation board members. So I just wanted to share with everybody in the Zoom, in this meeting or watching, that was something that, again, that Ellen and I had talked about ahead of time, and I fully support that as a solution to help get the wellness centers up and running as quickly as possible.
Great, thanks, Mike. What we will also be doing is creating the plaques to acknowledge the donors that will be placed on the door, outside the door of the wellness center. And so we'll have 7 plaques made in the next few weeks. Some of the plaques, we will have ribbon cuttings. For example, Desert Regional Medical Center, they would like to participate in that assigning of the naming of their contribution. And there's a few other foundations that would like that. So we'll have wonderful plaques before the end of the school year installed, which will be very lovely. Our next topic is our MTU sponsorship program that we kicked off this year. This is really the first time that we've got an organized effort with very specific deliverables around fundraising for MTU. And that is around it is post-production receptions that we're launching. And we started that with a chorus line. Jerry Keller underwrote that reception. It was following the opening night program. And I don't know if you got a chance to see a chorus line. It was unbelievable. I mean, I've not really been in one of the MTU performance audiences where people in the audience cried. It was so moving and so well done. And also, this is the first time that David and I are working in tandem where I got a chance to speak from the stage and invite people to consider underwriting a reception or sponsor one of the evenings in the community. For example, the nights that MTU produces the dinner and supper club events at Willie's. As a result of that effort and the appeal to our community, the 4 Sundays that MTU will be running at Willie's starting February 26th, all 4 of those Sundays now have sponsors. And that sponsorship level is $1,000. And actually, they can take multiple sponsors per evening. And right now we have 4 confirmed, and we have 5 confirmed, and we have 1 tentative, so 6 sponsors. The post-production reception, we are talking about possibly doing those at the Sunday matinee, because a lot of our audience won't want to stay around until 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night just because of the drive at the nighttime. And so we're talking about moving those receptions to the closing day. I'll talk a little bit about race. So we've met with race, the race team, and we're headed towards the end of the school year, probably faster than any of us can imagine. And this is when race deliverables happen from the funding that they have received. So a couple of things. The race team is looking at producing a car show on March 18th, and they are working with foundation supporters to launch that, to produce that show. It would be in the morning from 8 until 11, and it would be the back parking lot at Rancho Mirage High School. They are completing their restoration projects. There are 2 vehicles that will be completed that we will then resell. There will be a third-party inspector that will provide us with the certification that the car is in good shape and can be driven. And we're working with Renee in risk management to make sure all the paperwork will be completed. And that is something that a funder has sponsored. So the funder donated the money to purchase the cars. The money also included covering all of the repairs for the car, the inspection, and the cost to actually sell the car. Then once that car is sold, that money then goes into the race account, where they then get to self-fund their own field trips. And the funder at that point will be walking away from the program. And the race academy, the goal is that it becomes self-supporting and self-funded. And it looks like it's headed in that direction. So we're very excited about it. They'll be selling 2 vehicles, if I didn't say that. We're in the thick of SMART, and this is our next cohort. Both schools, Desert Hot Springs High School and Rancho Mirage High School, have had assemblies. At Desert Hot Springs High School, 150 students attended the assembly, and at Rancho Mirage High School, 50 students. And the difference between the 2 high schools, Rancho Mirage High School invites students who are not necessarily plugged in to either a CTE program or to AVID. And those individuals were very targeted and selected to attend the assembly. The feedback was excellent, and many of the kids had already heard about SMART. We can only take 15 students in this cohort, and so the applications are already coming in. And at Desert Hot Springs High School, they opened it up to many, many more students. Now, both schools are having a lot of success. We have not lost 1 student. And this is actually a first, because usually, students will participate to a certain level, and then maybe they would choose to decline continuing. And that happened last year, or the last cohort, really because I believe that we just had too many students. We didn't want to say no to anyone, and we just stretched ourselves a little too thin. And we ended up with the same number that we have this cohort. We will, and Karen, I mentioned this last time, but we will have 2 new team leads at the schools. So our team lead at Rancho Mirage High School is retiring, and a new team lead is taking over, and he's been with the program since its inception. And at Desert Hot Springs High School, the team lead is also retiring, though she will stay on as a mentor, and one of our new foundation board members will be taking over the role of team lead. So we're very excited about that. We are in the process of recruiting mentors. It is every Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And what we will do is, for the junior cohort, they will start in April, and the juniors will go on field trips between April and June. And then they will be matched with a mentor in August when they return back to school. They actually might even be matched with their mentor in June, because we have a graduating group that will graduate the first week of June, and we'll have the reception at the Air Museum like we did with the last cohort. And then the mentors are interested in staying on and taking on a new cohort. And so we will, if we can, match them in June before we get to August. I'll give you a quick, yes.
Could you remind us what the acronym SMART means? And again, give us the times when the meetings take place?
Yes, of course. SMART is Student Mentor Resource Training. It's every Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and it's on campus.
Thank you.
And what we do, that program starts with student field trips when they are juniors. And then when they come back to school in August, because Cal State applications for college are due, I believe, by November 30th, they spend September and October and November in their FAFSA applications, their personal and student essays, their senior packets, and their mentors work on that. And then once those applications are completed, they then move into helping them finish up their high school career and start to prepare for college around time management, interviewing, resume building. And for this new cohort, we will be adding a requirement that they must do community service. And so that will be included. We have a continuation of, Karen, did you have a question?
I did. Is it 15 students from each high school or 15 students total?
Each high school.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes. And we're hoping to roll out to the other high schools after this cohort, since we are bringing in new team leads and new ideas with new capacities. Planned giving, it's a continuation. The planned giving committee kicked off last month, and they are elbow high in their work. They're doing a great job. We've got 5 board members on the team. They are creating all the brochures, the materials for the website, as well as leave behinds. And they have scheduled a luncheon to kick off the planned giving. It's a soft launch, just to test the waters, so to speak. It would be a beta test. 25 donors and prospects will be invited to the luncheon, plus our foundation board members, which many of them are donors and prospects. So we expect to have a group of about 35. We have contacted Spencer's to secure the Bougainvillea room, and that lunch will be on March 24th. And that will be from 12 noon to 2 p.m. There will be speakers. There will be an introduction to the school district and the foundation. Then there will be discussions about planned giving and investment strategies. And then there'll be an individual who will make a pitch to the attendees. Let's see. Mike heard at the Desert Roundtable on Wednesday that I have been selected for an award from the Palm Springs Women's Club. And Erica has been corresponding with Edgar. That is on March 31st. They are moving it from a luncheon to a dinner. So it's evening of March 31st. And it's and the foundation will have tables for school board members and for cabinet, as well as foundation board members. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. And then just a quick fiscal update. Karen, we missed you on last month's call. Our totals as of the end of 2022, actually as of January, our meeting was $2,798,000.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. And so we're very excited about that. We did transfer the bulk of that money over to our investment account, and we are right now sitting on that as cash. And as we see the market start to stabilize a bit, we will gradually start to invest that cash into the market. We just didn't want that 1.8 million, which we transferred over. We kept 200,000 in cash in the checking account, but we wouldn't want that 1.8 million to turn into 1.2 million anytime soon. So we want to be very prudent about the investment strategy. And that then brings us just to a quick follow-up around some of the challenges that the foundation has had over the last few months with Wells Fargo's fraud. And I was talking to Mark today. It's not surprising that cybersecurity is like the #1 job in the continent around cyber issues. Someone made a copy of a check that was paid to a vendor, and then they duplicated that check over and over and over again. It started off very small, and by the time December came around, it was obnoxiously large, to the point where actually Wells Fargo froze our checking account. It really put us in a spin this last month, trying to get payments to our MTU entertainers and talent, running around trying to do Zelle transfers and ATM withdrawals and other types of payments. I've since sat with Wells Fargo. I met with them. We closed the account. We moved a bulk of that money over to the investment account. We did open up a new checking account. Our strategy moving forward is to be a checkless organization, and there are many ways that we can do that. Every week, we can take a list of checks that need to be cut to Wells Fargo, and they will cut checks for us on their bank notes. Would not be a foundation check; it would be a Wells Fargo check. And other ways to do that is to set up bill pay for our. And one example would be our drone camps. And so that's a consistent vendor of ours. And then we can just do electronic bill pay to our vendors. And then there's some other strategies for our talent to be able to use PayPal and other electronic transfers, ACH. Zelle does have a limit. We did max out on that limit, which put us in a peril. And so that's probably the bottom of the list of how we'll do it. But I feel good that we are tackling it and that we are moving forward in a more electronic system. And so another thing that for paper, and we will have to work with some of our partners, and I'll just use Cardiff as an example, Cardiff Bus. Every time we secure a bus for Cardiff and we make a payment, they require us to fill out a form. And on that form, they require a credit card or a debit card number. And then what that does is it has our number floating out there where we have no control over it. So we're going to work with Cardiff to see how we can do it differently so that our number is not floating around out there.
Ellen, was the money reimbursed by Wells Fargo?
So we were told the money will be reimbursed, but I will let you know they sent us a letter for one particular fraud situation that was about $8,700 and said they would not cover it because it wasn't reported within a 30-day period. And we have the documentation that it was reported. So we are having to sadly have to fight that and try to get them to pay that. So far, yes, except for that one situation. And then the other thing we're putting in place is we will have to look at the account on a daily basis to manage the activity. And so at the end of every day, we will look at that account so that usually we look at the account every week, which is when we cut checks. It's not like every day we're looking at our online statement, but now we have to do that. So we have to look at it every day online.
Do they have a way to alert you like credit cards do?
So yes and no. Sometimes, John, I get a phone call and they want to know if we made that payment, like, did you make this payment or did you make this purchase? And we're like, no, but it's not every time. And just to give you an example, at the end of January, just in one day, somebody paid their Southern Cal Edison bill, Kohl's bill. I mean, they were just paying everything. And Wells Fargo never contacted us to alert us.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead, Karen.
Was a police report filed?
Oh, that's a really great question. No, but we can file a police report and we will. Thank you for that. I'll also say this happened once before, many, many years ago. Not to this degree, but we did have to close the checking account and then we had to open a new one. It's very difficult because when we balance and tie out our books, now we have an old bank account and that it only stays active for us for only so many months. They make it available if we need it, but as far as active. And I will also share, I was sharing this conversation with somebody, and they said they experienced the same thing from Wells Fargo at the amount of $300,000. And they did the same thing. They closed their account. So we are looking at other banks if indeed that becomes an option. Police report's a good one. I will write that down.
Ellen, can I step in just to follow up on
Yes,
that?
I'm going to turn it right over to you, Mark.
I
Thank you.
just wanted to assure the group that the board is very much on this. We take our fiduciary responsibility very seriously. It's a sad fact that, especially with commercial checking accounts, fraud is a fact of life. Luckily, we have a Wells Fargo banker on our board. Dave Jager is one of our founding board members, and he has assured me, and I don't know whether we can take this to the bank, if you will, that we will likely not be held responsible for that $8,700 if he has anything to say about it. If we are, then we will definitely leave Wells Fargo immediately. So, we got to play hardball, and it's a sad fact of life. Arthur, my partner, is closing his MasterCard as we speak because he had a similar thing. But we are in an era of income inequality and very high level of domestic theft, and it's just a sad fact of life. And it's ironic that in the year that we have the best fundraising results in our history, we have to deal with this kind of nonsense, but it's a reality.
Yes, yes, it is. I've been there, done that.
And I just wanted to say that, just so you know, Ellen has the full support of the board, especially 4 or 5 of us who are particularly focused on it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarity. Ellen,
Thanks,
do you have
Mark.
anything else?
I don't, but I'll turn it over to Mark and Kathy if there's anything else that they'd like to add.
In spite of all of the drama around the bank account, everything is great. We're preparing our executive committee for Monday in preparation for Thursday's board meeting. And it's been a great year so far, and all is well with the board. Kathy?
I would want to, follow that up to say it's just been an outstanding year on the part of Ellen and the staff team with staff shortages to bring in all this money, and have such success in a year where we thought post-COVID that, and with the stock market issues and declines of value, that there would be a severe, retraction of money, and instead, thanks largely, to the supple bequest, but before the supple bequest, we were still never had as much cash come in the first half of the year, and it's just been a wonderful start. And considering that done with shorthanded staff, it's I don't want to say miraculous because we got a good product to sell, if you will, but it's just it's been really wonderful that the staff has been able to accomplish what they have. And so the board is extremely pleased with the staff.
Thanks,
Okay.
Kathy. I appreciate that.
Anybody else have anything to say? Dr. Sweezy, do you have anything to add?
Well, just want to add my congratulations to Ellen. I was excited to hear that just yesterday, getting the Palm Springs Women's Club Award. So I was really happy, and I was wanting to share that. So thank you, Ellen, for sharing that. That's great news, and we always like to share great news. I think we continue, the 3 of us, Dr. Kovach, Ellen, and I think we continue to strengthen our collaboration and communication, and I couldn't be happier about the success of the foundation this year, and looking forward to so many great things in the future.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? Okay, we'll go on to approval of board foundation subcommittee meeting minutes from January 19th, 2022. I have a motion. Thank you, Mark. And I have a second.
Second.
Okay, Kathy, a second. Okay, all those in favor of approving them?
Aye.
I'm abstaining since I missed the meeting.
Karen, there is just one little correction.
Okay,
Um,
correction. All right, we'll go
It's
back.
just one word that I noticed. I think it's on page 2, and it's where it mentions the supple estate. It just says we sold that with, and I think it's supposed to say we saw that with.
Okay. So with that correction,
I have one thing to add. I also was absent, but I remember from a previous meeting that John said that if you're absent, you still can vote on the minutes. And so if that is not the case, then I need to abstain as well.
By Robert's rules, you can. Some people abstain, but you can. It's not a.
okay,
Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's good to know.
okay. Well, now we all know. So now with the corrections, we had, can we have a motion for approval? Okay, Mark, we have a second. Okay, John, now all those in favor. Now I can vote. Okay,
Unanimous.
motion passes. Thank you. So the next, the setting of the next board foundations meeting is on March 16th, 2023 at 3 p.m. And that rounds us back to adjournment unless anybody has any more comments or debriefing. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Uh,
Take your pick.
We can rock, paper, scissors, John.
Okay, okay, Ellen is, Ellen makes the motion and Kathy is seconding it. Maybe all those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
A motion is adjourned. Thank you.
Good job, everybody.